if I get the coronavirus, I get it. Love will conquer all. I almost died last week. I overdosed. I almost died. I was in the hospital. All of my organs failed. Love will conquer all, and if it doesn't, death certainly will. But what is life if it's just fear? Now, I'm not saying everyone should go out and shake hands with everyone, but don't live in fear, isolated, quarantined, because you're afraid. Only do that if you feel it's the right thing to do, and that's where you feel most comfortable. Don't do it if you feel like you're dying. That's how I felt. I literally almost died last weekend. I had an overdose and I woke up right on this floor. You can still see the stains. There's one, there's two, there's three. Got it out with some degreaser. Actually, a good friend of mine did. She was there for me. She really helped. And she's done a lot for me. And I can't show enough appreciation. My mind is disconnected, disassociated. My thoughts and experience are fucked up from prescription drugs growing up into adulthood and manhood and enough amphetamines make you paranoid enough to stay at home. Well, I didn't die just to get this virus a week later. I was tested. There were people. Suddenly, I wasn't allowed to have visitors as soon as I thought, oh, we should test you for the coronavirus. And because I got pneumonia, because all of my organs had shut down. And the reason they shut down was because I'd done some narcotics and overdosed. And where I pointed out those cleaned now stains on the carpet was where I woke up with pools of blood that was dripping out my nose and mouth. And there's scars, I don't know if they're carpet burns or what. But for 2 hours I laid there at least, and then I got up and saw the lights shining into the windows so brightly that it was almost the other side, that I was almost welcome to. Like, looked out the windows, my leg felt like a million Charlie horses. I couldn't walk, could not exist. I thought this was death's door. I always heard overdoses were painful, but I thought, what? Oh, if I ever were to kill myself, an overdose seems like the most comfortable way to go. And someone once told me, no, it's really painful. I've revived 8 people at least from overdoses, and I mean, they never had that experience, and they were fine afterwards. I try not to use Narcan ever, because Narcan is painful. That was used on me at the hospital a couple points, but I'm not convinced that's what saved my life. I'm not really sure what all happened exactly. All I know is that I'd got some skag and in my filled it up in my rig. Stood right here where this dresser is. And I woke up in the most excruciating pain of my life, with my nose dripping blood onto the floor. I still have my hospital wristband right here, and I texted a friend saying I think I'm dying, and she came over, and before I crossed to the other side, I made it to the hospital and was in there for a while. And they couldn't figure out, oh, you have people in their 20s, they're being tested for pneumonia, or for corona. So I was tested for corona. Suddenly my visitor, my friend, my dear friend, um, I'll leave her nameless in this, she had to go home because suddenly once you're being tested for corona, even though all the nurses and doctors and whatever were touching me, and I was freezing cold and felt like I was dying. I just was dying, and then they put me into precipitated withdrawals with Narcan. I begged them not to, because you go into instant withdrawals with Narcan. I won't get into all that right at the moment, but so then next thing I know, my visitor has to go, and I'm being tested in a hospital, and people are coming in masks and stuff, and it was almost like they wanted me to have corona, harvesting it. Even my stepmom was like, hey, it might be good if you had corona, then you could get it over with. Fortunately, as funny as that sounds, I didn't get it. But I got a second chance at life in a time where even if I had died, no one would show up to my funeral because of the spread of coronavirus. Now, the takeaway from all this is a second chance while there's a worldwide pandemic, and you don't want to get this. You don't want to spread it to your parents and your loved ones who are older. Every day there's risks. Every day people die of heart disease. Every day 100 people die of opiate overdose. Is this a real thing? Certainly. Is it hyped up? Certainly. Is it so tragic that we should be quarantined? You might have it for 2 weeks and not even know. At what point is life better than death when you're already dying indoors? Now I find myself disagreeing with myself simultaneously as I also quarantine myself and don't want to live like this. We've never lived through something like this. But I almost died last week. I should be dead right now. I have a second chance during this pandemic, and perhaps I should stay indoors and never meet the one I love. I'm never she's not out there anyway. She's indoors. Life is indoors. Nothing. Breathing is outdoors as spring approaches in this shitty Midwestern town. Only shitty because my perspective is skewed, because I want to be where the sun always shines, just like you. You don't want to be where the clouds always hang, wrung out like rags, falls like rain. That's what happens in life. And what we can do is leave something behind, right? All we can do is share our voices over the wires. And what's the significance of this? 1 in 6 billion, 7, 8 now? Surpassing the law of the Georgia Guidestones. Maybe this will resolve it all. I don't know. I'm losing you, I'm sure. I fear no death, but I fear the sickness of death. My mom died when I was 19 of a sickness. But to what extent does life stop once I have a second chance? The world's out there waiting for you and you're young. I'm gonna write and leave something behind. I'm gonna make music, leave something behind. If you like, check out the music if you want. But it's a new world we're living in. I have nothing else to say at this point. Take care. Vlog number, who gives a shit? That's all for today, kids.